It's a strange feeling, looking at your life and realizing that, technically, you're doing better than you were a year ago. But somehow, it doesn't feel like progress. You're earning more, you're working harder, you're trying to be responsible. And yet, at the end of the month, it still feels tight. You tell yourself, I'm moving forward, but there's this quiet thought in the back of your mind. Then why does it feel like I'm still in the same place? Here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't talk about. A lot of what we call progress isn't actually progress. It just looks like it. We've been taught to measure improvement in very visible ways. Higher income, better lifestyle, nicer things, more comfort. And on the surface, that makes sense. If your salary increases, your life should increase too. But what actually happens for most people is something very different. As income goes up, expenses quietly rise with it. Not all at once, not dramatically, just enough that it feels justified. A slightly better apartment, more convenient food choices, subscriptions you barely notice, small upgrades that feel earned. And none of these decisions are wrong on their own. But together, they create something dangerous, the illusion that you're moving ahead when your financial position hasn't really changed. Think about it like this. If last year you earned less but had little left at the end of the month, and this year you earn more but still have little left, what actually improved? Your lifestyle changed, but your financial position didn't. That gap between income and what you keep, that's the part that actually builds stability. And for many people, that gap stays almost exactly the same, no matter how much they earn. That's the illusion. What makes this harder is that it doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like growth. You're not being reckless. You're not overspending wildly. You're just adjusting your life to match your new reality. And psychologically, that's very natural. Your brain wants consistency. If you work harder, it expects a reward. If you earn more, it expects relief. So instead of using that extra income to change your future, you use it to make your present slightly more comfortable. Again, not irrational, just limiting. There's also another layer most people don't notice. Your environment shifts with you. As you earn more, your circle changes. Your expectations adjust. What once felt like a luxury starts to feel normal. And suddenly, maintaining your lifestyle becomes the new baseline, not the upgrade. So instead of feeling ahead, you feel like you're just keeping up. That's why even people who double their income sometimes feel just as financially stressed as before. Because stress doesn't come from how much you earn. It comes from how much margin you have. This is where the turning point happens. Real progress isn't about how your life looks on the outside. It's about how much pressure you've removed from your future. It's the difference between living month to month and having space to breathe. Between reacting to every expense and knowing you can handle it. Between needing your next paycheck and having options if something changes. That kind of progress is quieter. You don't see it in photos or social media. No one compliments you on it. But it changes how you feel every single day. And once you see this clearly, your decisions start to shift. Not drastically, not overnight, but subtly. You start questioning things you didn't question before. When your income increases, you don't immediately upgrade everything around you. You pause. You ask yourself, do I want this to improve my life now or my life later? Sometimes the answer will still be now, and that's fine. The goal isn't to remove enjoyment from your life. It's to stop unconsciously trading your future stability for short-term comfort. You also begin to notice something else. Freedom isn't built through big, dramatic financial moves. It's built through small, consistent gaps. A little more saved than before. A little less pressure each month. A little more control over your time. Individually, these changes feel insignificant, but over time, they compound into something meaningful. Not just financially, but mentally. Because the real benefit isn't just money. It's the reduction of anxiety. You don't need to be perfect with this. You don't need to optimize every rupee or track every expense obsessively. What matters is awareness, understanding that progress isn't what you spend, it's what you keep. Not what you show, but what you build quietly in the background. So, if you've been feeling stuck lately, even though you're doing better, there's a good chance you're not actually stuck. You're just measuring progress the wrong way. And once that shifts, everything else starts to make more sense. You stop chasing the appearance of growth and start building something that actually supports you. At the end of the day, real financial progress doesn't feel exciting. It feels calm. It feels like fewer worries, like more space, like less urgency in every decision. And maybe that's the point. Not to create a life that looks impressive, but to create one that feels stable enough that you don't have to think about money all the time. Because progress isn't about how fast you move. It's about whether you're finally moving in a direction that gives you peace.